Hello and welcome to Matchday Matinee, the show where we take a look at the beautiful takes of football. If you are a audio listener, you won't know the fact that we are in person for the first ever time. So hello YouTubers, watchers, viewers. I'm joined as ever by Mark, as you can see.
Hello.
So we are outside an empty stadium, which will make sense when we get to today's film. But before we do that, let's talk about what we're wearing. So we're both out here to watch Forge FC play Toronto FC. No, wrong team. Montreal, guard.
Sacrilegious.
Oi! Let's cut. No. So we're both wearing orange today.
Yep.
To support Forge. I'm wearing this really ugly Portsmouth kit from last season.
What makes it ugly? I heard you call it ugly on Twitter. Is it the color combination or just the bright orange?
I hate it. Bright orange, black badge, never a fan of. Keep it blue.
It's the pylon orange, I guess.
And then, and we've always, every season we had an orange kit, we've been terrible. And we were terrible last season.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic. It's the same as the home shit.
Template.
Yeah. It's a template. It's got these diamonds on it.
Not bad.
They bought in the sale.
Yeah. Same as the jersey I'm wearing today.
Orange as well.
I've got the North Miss keeper kit. It's very much an Adidas template.
Yep.
With North Miss badge stuck on and a Canadian maple leaf on the shoulder.
All right. So it's Halloween, so we're going to do a Halloween movie this week. But I did wonder, have you been watching any Halloween movies?
I have.
This season?
Yes. I popped in some old favorites. I'm a big fan of the teenagers at a camp getting killed.
Of course, it's a classic.
I watched a bunch of the Friday 13th, I think around 3 to 5. After that, they get a bit off the rails. I'm not a fan of him. He goes to New York for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Oh yeah, Manhattan, right?
Yeah. Yep. And then he becomes a slug that inhabits other people's bodies. And I mean, your star is Jason. Why would you keep it Jason?
Yep.
So a bunch of the Friday 13th movies. That's it. And then today's horror movie that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, which is Kick, Sudden Death. We've just seen a sudden death penalty shootout. Yeah. I think the score was like 9-8 to Montreal, something like that. Ended up where the keepers were shooting out against each other.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Keeper making a save and then the other one scoring the winner.
Heartbroken.
Today's movie is Kick, Sudden Death. A dangerous game of cat and mouse begins when aspiring young soccer players Dan and Steve bribe their way into a Premier League football ground to play an illicit underground match. One fateful night, sudden death takes a new meaning. This film was really hard to find information on. It's like it doesn't exist. It was directed by Marcus Warren. Didn't work on a whole lot else. But he did direct a film called The Heavy, featuring Vinnie Jones and Dracula himself, Christopher Lee. The late, great Christopher Lee, yeah.
Okay.
The only notable person in here is Keely Shirley, who plays Tracy, the wife.
Yeah.
Who was once in EastEnders, a show that has better production values than this film, arguably.
But it feels like everybody's been in EastEnders at some point. I've never watched it, but
I always keep coming up,
Either, they've been in Harry Potter or EastEnders.
It's Harry Potter, EastEnders, or Doctor Who.
Okay, yeah.
Those three. So she's in EastEnders. She played like a mechanic, I believe.
Okay. It's funny that you say there was no information on this movie, considering there's 2 separate IMDb entries for some reason.
Yes.
Which I've never seen before.
Both with no information, so we have nothing on the budget, nothing on the production of it or anything.
Strange.
It's plot synopsis time.
Go for it.
So the movie starts with what appears to be some found footage of some man in a stadium concourse holding his phone, recording himself. We never find out who he is. Dan has arranged for him and his mate Steve to play football for a hell of a lot of money to play in an illegal match and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity on a Premier League ground. This is despite at the time that 15 of the 20 Premier League clubs offer the service for much cheaper than they pay. And it was in 2015.
Why did they need to play in the stadium?
I don't know, it's just a dream. A dream. They give George the security guard money and he looks through their bags before letting him in. Notice their bags were clearly empty. He just goes like this, there's nothing in them. Cue a really boring football match in which the only notable things are a weird man watching on and someone stamps on Dan's Rolex. Why was he still wearing it? After the game, we get treated to Dan and Steve reveling in the atmosphere of the green screened empty stadium. I realised at this point the budget of this movie was less than what Dan and Steve paid to play in this match. Steve's girlfriend is worried that he didn't come back from work that she's prepared him a chicken salad to talk about the pregnancy that he already knows about. She calls the police, but they don't seem to really care. But they do call George the security man, who's busy spending all his money on hookers. In case you're any doubts of his intentions with these hookers, the director makes damn sure to make a long sweeping cut of a box of Durex, at which point I feel obliged to note that other brands of condoms are available.
But there's also a 5-second shot of him caressing her breast.
Yes, just in case you want any doubts.
Side boob.
Finally, Dan and Steve piss about in the stadium for a while. They get pissed on endlessly by the bald man. And then they get killed by him eventually after he kind of chases them around the stadium. Dan somehow pulls out cigarettes out of nowhere, which he had in his pocket whilst they were playing. And then somehow Tracy gets into the stadium, which I couldn't quite figure out. We need to talk about that more. So we spend the entire film knowing the premise. So the reason they're stuck in the stadium is because this game's illegal and it shuts at 10 p.m. no matter what.
Yeah.
She throws up. She gets stabbed right in the stomach where her pregnant baby, where she's unborn child is.
Or is it?
Well, we assume
because she had something important to tell him after she visited the doctors, and we never find out what that was.
That's true. Maybe she's, I don't know.
Yeah.
And at this point, we find out George and the bald man are in cahoots. The bald man pays off George, the security guard, to load the dead bodies into his car. George drives off, and the movie's over. And I would like to ask at this point, can I have these 1 hour and 17 minutes of my life back, please?
Okay, so I'm saying that I'm curious to see where you rank this later on, but it's kind of better than I expected.
Oh,
a bit.
This was the first movie where I genuinely think we might be able to make a better movie.
Yeah, okay.
Like, we're filming this on the new iPhone that you got. I think we could make a better movie.
4K at least.
Exactly.
And we got the empty stadium. But so they must have had the stadium from like 10 p.m. onwards. And now that you're talking about the green screen when they were in the stadium and looking on, it was kind of a daylight setting.
Yes.
So they must have had the stadium past like 9 p.m. and they weren't allowed to shoot during the day, so they had the green screen and everything else.
Yeah, also I noticed a lot of the nighttime scenes just seemed like they grayscaled it. It didn't seem...
For 100%.
The way there was no... The shadows weren't right or anything. There was no like natural light.
And they just said like, we'll just say that the smiley guy has night vision goggles.
But yeah.
Got distracted for a second. Green screen stadium. What stadium was it?
We think it was the Emirates.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure at one point you see the Arsenal word mark on one of the concourse levels.
Even though they use a fake team called Kingsmead.
Kingsstead,
yes. Kingsmead's a real place. Kingsstead is the made-up team. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we've got a lot to dive into in these highlights.
Do we?
I wrote more notes.
Okay. We want to talk about the first half hour of the movie, what the storyline entails, because you talked about it a bit, but we get introduced to Dan and Steve, and I guess this is supposed to make us connect with them and feel empathetic for their stories and Steve's girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I guess they know Dan well, and then they go to work and they're just sales guys. And
sales guys in like boobs, and it's like
business.
Dan is like a high flyer and expect you like they're sales guys for marketing for a magazine. It would seem. So
is that what it was?
It seemed like they talked about readership levels and stuff when they had that team meeting.
I glossed over everything. It was just,
and it's just So when the boss asks Steve to stay behind, and they're talking about there, like we know
business. The numbers are bad. The numbers are bad again. The numbers are bad, and then
it's just like I don't believe that marketing dollars on a paper.
The numbers are bad.
It's just really bad.
Yeah. They could have. They could have done without that first entire half hour.
Yep.
Like, I guess they wanted to set the whole thing up.
And the fact that it kept cutting between timelines almost, like it was trying to be like Saw or something. So it was cutting to stuff.
100% trying to be like Saw, because there was one musical part where, remember when, spoilers for a 15-year-old movie at this point, but when Jigsaw stands up at the end of Saw, and it's like, blah, 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 they completely ripped that off when they're running through the stadium. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know.
And the smiley guy actually looks like Tobin Bell, like the Jigsaw killer.
Yeah, he kind of does. So like
they've taken
ugly, ill kind of looking guy, yeah.
I wish we got more of that guy's backstory, because there's some quick cuts at the beginning.
So, yeah, the U highlights me. I missed that completely then. So he's like a footballer that was in an accident or something.
Oh, so that's why he's good. I didn't get the footballer part. I saw the car accident part. And then we get kind of like a Seven serial killer intro, except nowhere near as cool. Nothing in this movie is original, but they rip off the Seven serial killer vibe, and then we find out some of his backstory. And then we also see the quick cuts of Dan in the shower, naked.
Which we don't know when that's
We're
from.
not sure why.
Like, I thought that was playing... I thought that was going to be how the movie ended or something.
No, it's very
No.
like James Bond, Casino Royale-ish. I was like, okay, they're going cool with this, but
Yeah.
nothing happens.
Yeah. Really bad lighting in all the film scenes. Really bad CG.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Like, there's 2 people at least who have their necks cut.
Yeah.
And it just looks like just a red line going across, and then like it looks blown out kind of. There's no actual blood.
No, it's
certainly when
Photoshop
Steve gets killed.
rushed.
Yeah, it's terrible.
The lighting is completely off.
Really bad acting. Really weird. We talked about the lighting in the stadium. Also in the first half of the film, when like
It's very like luminous.
yeah, that's the word. Bloom, like blown out bloom lighting.
Yeah.
When they're just in an apartment that doesn't have lighting like that. Like nowhere in the world has lighting like that inside.
They use a lot of weird filters to make up for the fact that it's really poorly shot.
Yeah. What else do I have on my notes? Just the whole bit where it's trying to make tension in the stadium, and they're just walking around in the dark.
Yeah.
It's just fumbling around in a concrete corridor.
And this is before the era of like escape rooms, so I guess they weren't even influenced by that. That was the one original thing that they had. But yeah, clearly they had the stadium to work with, and then they're just going through the corridors in the dark. They get stalked by Smiley for a bit, so there's like a lot of tension builds, and you're like, Smiley can see them on the security camera for some reason.
Yeah.
They're looking at the cameras, and then he looks up at the camera and can tell that they're watching somehow. They never explain how. Maybe he has supernatural powers. But then they hide from him behind a glass window, and then they're like, he's coming for us at any moment. And then it cuts to like a little lower third that says 1 a.m.
Yes.
And then out of nowhere, it's like, here's the London, what's the Ferris wheel, the London Eye?
Yeah, the London Eye,
It's like 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And then they're still there. It's like,
through,
yeah. So they were just chilling for 3 hours with no tension.
Exactly. Just hanging out. They go and hang out in the center circle at one point, so you think that's the safest place, even though you're definitely out in the open.
I guess, but you could see where he's coming from, unless it was too dark to tell.
The other part that didn't make sense to me then. So we'll talk a little bit more about when we get to footy flicks.
Okay.
But the Smiler guy gets them both, ties them up, puts them on the central circle, pees on them endlessly. It feels like more urine than somebody could possibly have inside them.
Was it urine? Maybe he had a water bottle or something?
No, because you could see like his crotch was like, and you saw like his hips swaying like he was having too much fun.
But he was in coveralls.
It's true.
So did he have a hole? Like
maybe he zipped his custom coveralls.
Okay.
And they take to a penalty shootout where they kind of come over a plan like, you shoot to the left, I'll save it. And they shoot top corner to score.
But wait, what was the stipulation? So whoever
if
you score,
you live.
Stop
Yeah,
it.
if you stop it, you die.
Okay.
And then Dan says to Steve, top corner, when he comes to kill me, you rush it. And then Steve shoots it down the middle instead, and Dan already has his hands up and saves it. Like, if the original plan could have just put ducks it, missed it, and the original plan would have still stood. So instead, the guy stands behind Steve and just does.
But there was no reason. There was no reason to even say like, shoot it this way. It was pretty much, when he comes to kill me, you kill him instead.
Yeah, whoever.
And like, why did they have this? Why did they accept the deal?
Yeah. Why didn't they try and fight him? There was also 2 of them and 1 of him.
Just run.
Yeah.
Why did they accept the deal? Like, okay, well, I guess one of us is going to have to die.
And they were both going to die anyway. The guy was a psycho.
Yeah.
One notable scene was when Dan got his leg impaled by a corner flag that was thrown like a javelin.
That was awesome.
And
I don't think corner flags work like that unless he sharpened it. Maybe he went beforehand and he planted that sharpened corner flag.
I don't think a corner flag would fly like a javelin though. Javelins are weighted. Corner flag's not. Corner flag's made to fall over and they snap.
Yeah, exactly. And it's weighted on one side of the flag either way.
But yeah, real dumb film. I did not like it at all.
It's cheap horror, man. It's like, have you watched a lot of horror movies?
Yeah.
But like one of those ones you find. So I grew up with like my cousins. On the weekends, we'd go to the VHS store, rental store, and we would just grab whatever we saw on the shelf. There was no internet to look it up.
Yeah.
You read the back of the box.
We didn't really do that with horror films as much. We did more with dumb action films.
Nah.
The closest to an unknown horror film I've seen without knowing what it was is Slither, which in hindsight's better than it was because it's James Gunn. Yeah, but at the time it was like low budget, very strange.
That's not even
dumb.
low budget.
No,
low budget is like going into Walmart and looking at their $5 section and picking out
straight to DVDs.
Yeah.
But no, I suppose I haven't.
Okay,
so where does this compare to those types of films?
It's not bad. I mean, like at one point I was really into horror films where I was like, I owed Blockbuster $70 before they shut down because I rented this French horror film called High Tension. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
But yeah, I was renting stuff like that, and like I've seen tons of stuff, and honestly, this isn't the worst. I mean, horror films are just basically
that's the thing. Like you talk about a trashy film, it's like horror. Yeah, it's that genre.
Like, all horror is low budget. I mean, if you look at like Blumhouse films, they've done. It's all sticking in my mind now, but I think Blumhouse has done like Paranormal Activity and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Those are made for like $1 million.
Yeah,
and the return on those is like $30 million or something stupid. But that's just horror in general. It's low budget, and that's why you see so many like movies pumped out. And I don't know. The thing about horror is like you want to see creative kills, and if the creative kills are there, then you're happy. But this didn't even have that.
No, compare it to the two main films that have had deaths. Goal of the Dead. Tried way better.
Awesome, though, yeah.
Really good death scenes, and then I guess you could say Final Score and some of its crazy death
but that's
scenes.
A big budget.
That's a big budget action film,
right?
There's a
Batista
difference.
was in there. What's his name? I was going to say the Ray Donovan guy, but it's not him. The guy who's on Batwoman.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, yes. But also the other guy, the bad guy in that one.
I forget his name.
Yeah. He's on Batwoman. I can't remember his name. But yeah, he was also in that big budget.
Yeah. But I guess there's no inventive kills. Nearly everyone gets killed by their neck being slashed.
Yeah, it sucks.
Or stabbed in the stomach with his Assassin's Creed blade that he has.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. I'll give you that.
Spring-loaded
like
blade.
A really back to basics Assassin's Creed blade.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we talk about the name of the movie?
Oh, so it's called Kick.
Kick.
Sudden Death.
Sudden Death. So it sounds like they came up with Kick first, and then afterwards they decided to add the Sudden Death onto it.
I would assume so, because there was already a film called Sudden Death, Jean-Claude Van Damme, so they weren't. I don't think that piece came first.
I think they recently remade that or did a sequel to it or something.
Oh, okay.
What would have been a better title for this movie? I've got one in mind. Straight Red.
Okay.
It's not bad, right?
No.
It's better than Kick Sudden Death.
Yeah, Kick Sudden Death is rubbish.
Right?
That's not even a phrase that's used in football. No one says Kick Sudden Death.
Penalty kicks?
It could have been called Penalty Kick Sudden Death. That might have made more sense. That may have put more onus on the penalty kick they took in the film.
But Sudden Death is never like a term, right?
Other than penalties. And penalties go to sudden death, which I guess is ultimately...
I guess people here would have called it, like, instead of calling it golden goal, it would be sudden death.
Okay.
Right? You're so used to it with hockey. Sudden death.
See, that's totally why. That's where I thought this film was going. So when they took the penalty, and Steve gets killed, I was like, okay, so Dan's not going to die, but he's going to be locked in a basement where there's a shower, and the film's going to end with him crying because we saw those flashbacks.
Yeah.
But no, he got killed. He was the last body you saw getting loaded into a car was his. Into a body bag as well. He's definitely dead.
Yeah.
There's no hint that he's alive in that body bag.
That's one of the few images they had on IMDb. That's him dead. And it's like, all right, you just ruined your movie, but I don't think anybody was watching it anyways.
So yeah.
Yeah, and so the George security guard character, he was really goofy in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then he had a complete character change when he suddenly got money for hookers and blow and then showed up at the end.
I also thought we were going to see more development of him because he was in a pub and you could see him watching some guys having a laugh. And so I assumed he was looking for other people to scout out, to be like, hey, do you want to play football in this underground match? But we didn't get told that.
Okay, like full disclosure, I watched this on my phone. So I looked away when he was in the pub, and then it zoomed in on him looking at somebody.
Yeah, so he was looking at, there was some lads having some banter, on the other side of the bar.
So I thought I missed something, but apparently I didn't.
You didn't miss anything. So I thought we were going to see him recruiting those lads for the next game.
Okay.
For Sudden Death 2. Kick Sudden Death 2.
Straight red.
Straight red. Yeah, that's
Straight
a kick.
red.
Straight red.
Straight red.
But no, that didn't happen. Instead, we saw him with, I think, the same women that were stood behind him, ended up being the hookers.
And were they in on it?
Who knows?
Maybe they get paid extra. Well, I guess they're benefiting from them finding people to kill.
Yeah, maybe they help recruit the people.
So this guy's getting paid twice, because he's getting paid by the soccer players that go in there, and then he's also getting paid by Mr. Smiley to find the victims.
Yep.
And he's also getting paid a third time to be the security guard.
Oh yeah, his actual day job. Yeah,
he's got 3 incomes. This guy.
He's diversified his revenue streams.
Man, yeah, passive income, not bad.
I did want to talk about, so I did look up, like I said, there's 15 Premier League teams at the time who offered up being able to rent out their stadiums. So the cheapest, Norwich City, Newcastle and Sunderland, all £1,500. So you get 30 odd of you, it's like £75 each.
That's nothing. That's almost what we're paying for indoor soccer in an elementary school gym right now. We're paying Babu more than that for elementary school gym and a playing surface.
Don't give in to soccer cartels.
Yeah.
The most expensive is Arsenal for 30,000.
Really?
Yeah. A few on the list that aren't here: Manchester City, Manchester United aren't.
And they just let anybody in to play on the playing surface?
Yeah, you pay that fee in the closed season. And I think most of them give you a kit to wear.
Well, what happens if you ruin the surface?
No, they don't care. They've got really good groundsmen.
I guess.
And
is this in the off season?
It must be, yeah. Or maybe international breaks as well.
Yeah, I guess.
I've had friends that did it at Leeds United's pitch when they were lower down the league.
Yeah.
Because I went to school in the north of England, so I had a bunch of friends that were Leeds United fans. And yeah, a whole bunch of them, like 30 of them did it. It didn't cost them a lot.
Pretty cool.
So yeah. Okay. Was there any other highlights you wanted to talk about?
Nah.
Okay.
Ripped off the Saw music. I really wanted to talk about that because it was egregious.
Do you know how Tracy got in the stadium at the end?
No.
Because Tracy runs in, asks Dan, where's Steve? And he's like, I've got some bad news.
The ambulance almost hit a Porsche.
Why is she driving? Maybe he doesn't drive. Okay. Yeah, so how does Tracy get into the stadium? Because she runs in, says, where's Steve? Dan's like, I don't know. And then we see George, the security guard, literally walking in and saying, what are you still doing here? So he's opening the door. I don't want to spend a whole film.
But how hard is it to get in? Like, there's got to be a wall you can scale or something, right?
I don't know. No, they're all blocked off. It's not like TFC where there's like, or like here, where there's like open parts of the stadium. A lot of them aren't like that.
At 10 p.m. the lights are shut. Well, it's past 10 p.m. now. You just hop over.
Yeah, it's not like that. Like a lot of the stadiums, it's all closed off and boxed off. All the corners are filled, everything. There's no way to jump in.
Nowhere to climb in.
No.
Climb in through like an air vent or something.
Oh, maybe an air vent.
Okay. We'll assume that she crawled through an air vent.
Okay. Sure.
Right.
Anyway, number ones at the time.
Wait.
Oh, go on.
What was the message that Tracy had to tell Steve about the doctor? Because he already knew that she was pregnant. Was it the gender of the baby?
I think it's that she was having twins or something. This film doesn't connect any dots, so I'm thinking it's something completely out of... But she didn't look happy, though, either.
It wasn't his baby. It was Dan's baby.
Ooh, plot twist.
And that's why she was so invested about Dan's girlfriend and what they thought of her.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll have to go back and look at hints that they're having an affair.
Maybe.
Okay.
It was him naked in the shower and
we saw him we also saw him do some topless press-ups. We didn't mention that, just randomly.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay. Number ones at the time. The number one song was I Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd.
Oh yeah. That was a good song. Like everyone,
a banger.
It was all over radio and like moms were singing it. We played it at like work functions. Nobody knew it was about cocaine.
No, I went to a wedding.
And they were playing it.
That was their entrance song. And I was like, I don't get this.
He's not singing about a woman, he's singing about cocaine. Yeah.
I looked at my wife and I was like, what? And she was like, just leave it, it's not worth it.
That's awesome.
The number one movie at the time in the box office was The Martian, starring Matt Damon.
Still haven't seen it.
Really good film.
Is it a comedy? Because it won not an Oscar, but the one before that, Golden Globe for Best Comedy.
No.
Not at all? Okay. Yeah, so
he's funny in it, in that he's like on his own.
That was the controversy at the time. So it won a Best Oscar for Best Comedy. Best Comedy Golden Globe Award.
Like it has, you know how like the Marvel movies have their own sense of humor, but they're not comedies.
Like quips and stuff like that.
Yeah, it has its own version of that, its own sense of humor with quips.
Yeah.
But they're all quips taken from the book. I've read the book as well since after the facts. People say it's a really good book really good at explaining the science behind it all in like layman's terms.
It might have been one of those things where they submitted it for that category because another film was a shoe-in to win a Best Oscar.
Yeah, maybe, and then it still won.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's all I got for those. There's the footy flicks. I wrote bad Sunday league football.
Yeah.
The big match was blurry. Lots of cuts, lots of scenes of tackles being made where the ball is nowhere near them.
Yeah, no progression in play too. So he would have possession of the ball, and then the next cut, he's on the other side waiting for a cross in front of the net.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's almost like, I feel like they had their stunts planned for the tackles, and they were almost like fearful of having the ball there because it was one too many variables to pull off the stunt. I noticed the pitch quality didn't look that good because it was meant to be a Premier League ground. There were like tufts in the grass everywhere. Which I didn't expect.
So I'm guessing they had the stadium at night because it was cheaper. They're like, whatever, you can use the stadium overnight, rent it for that purpose. They used another playing surface or another field somewhere, and then green screened everything behind that. Yeah.
And then maybe did some pickup shots.
Yeah.
Green screened with the stadium behind because they didn't look real.
That's my guess.
Yeah. They also used really bad elements of slow-mo and freeze frames when tackles were made. There was one where Steve was like paused like this.
Yeah, he was flying
and
forward.
Then he just went down on the floor.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And Steve scores the shittest tapping I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And his own team don't even seem happy. Okay.
But you couldn't even keep track of what was happening. So it was one
so
match.
Disjointed.
So it was a money game, one match, winners take all.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you what the score was.
And then it was Steve and Dan playing with the Brazilians against a bunch of other guys?
Yeah, against a bunch of thugs, basically.
Okay. There was a referee there.
Yeah, there was a referee because he was the one that said to them, he said something like at the beginning, he had a really tough voice. He was like, don't.
It was very comedic voice. Yeah.
He was like, don't kick each other, fuck it up or something. It was just terrible.
Awful.
I did write a quote down.
So that reminds me, speaking about the referee, the villain in this movie almost feels like a version of that Italian referee from like the 90s. He would have been...
Oh, Kalina?
He was Kalina?
Yeah.
So they should have got him in there.
That would have been scarier. He
must be still alive, but
he's still alive.
That would have been cool.
He's like on a referees committee or something.
Is he? Okay.
But yeah, when he used to stare players down, he was scary.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Yeah, get him in there instead.
Anything else you want to mention about the footy flicks?
No, they're all terrible.
Okay, so let's talk rankings.
Okay.
So in number 7, we have My Summer with Des. 6, Baggio Divine Ponytail. 5, Soccer Dog. 4, Mean Machine. 3, Looking for Eric. 2, Rudo Ukersi. And number 1, Marvelous.
Okay.
I know exactly where I'm putting it. Bottom. Like I said, I think it's the first... Like, we couldn't have made Summer with Des because the budget's too high because it was actually filmed in stadiums. It uses... UEFA footage. We couldn't afford to make that. We can make a better film than this. Honestly, we could jump over that wall now and make a better film than this.
I kind of want to put this above My Summer with Des because I hate that movie so much. And it's just as like nonsensical as this movie.
Yeah, plot holes all over the place.
But it did have like amazing Euro scenes in it. So that saves it a bit. And on top of that, I know we never like jumped to this criteria when we should. It's also a better football movie.
Yep.
This has maybe like 10 minutes of football, and then the whole plot is basically we have a soccer stadium, which they did with Final Score.
Really well, yeah.
So, number 7. I'll agree to it.
Okay, putting it in.
All right.
It's on the list. Okay, so that is going to do it for this year's Halloween special. We're going to struggle to find. This was a struggle. There aren't that many Halloween football movies, so we'll have to do something weird next year.
Something cool. I mean, the one I was looking at was the Cayman Rider. Cayman Raider or Rider, but that's always cool. We could probably do that for next year. It's got a bit of costume element to it, so we'll save it. Kind of sucks we have to wait a year to do it. I was a little bit excited.
That's true,
but maybe they'll come out with another horror movie before then.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Okay, Mark, where can people find you on the internet?
Mark A3 on Twitter and A3 Football on Instagram.
I'm Joypad Goalpost on all of the social media. You can follow our account on Matchday Matinee on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
And that's it. So from the horrible terraces of this movie, the terraces of Hamilton,
Theater of Dreams,
we are Matchday Matinee. Catch you next time. Bye.